wasn't until Halo 3 in 2007 when fans finally got a taste of what would become one of Halo's most desirable aspects when it came to the multiplayer: true armor customization. The shoulders, chest pieces, and most importantly, the helmets that came with Halo 3 made quite the first impression, to say the least. Recon, ODST, Hayabusa, they're all just as important to us now, almost 20 years later, as they were back then. But some of these helmets have been left behind, now relics of a bygone era. So what if we bring them back? Give them some new life with never before seen details and attachments. It's time to resurrect the armor from Halo 3. Greetings, Vernissage here. Seeing as we recently saw an OG Mark 6 armor set come to Halo Infinite, it got me thinking about what Halo 3's armor customization could be in the modern era. How would it look with today's graphics? And what additions could be made for it? And I'm happy to say LoreKeeper is yet again back with some truly amazing lore for the brand new designs. And not only that, with a blessing from the one and only Isaac Hannaford, I've even included 4 unreleased helmets based on his concept art that never saw the light of day back in Halo 3. So stick around to the end of the video for that. Now, a huge thanks goes out to my lovely Discord mods and my amazing Spartan 2 patrons for their incredible feedback on these designs. Check out my Discord if you want to join our creative community, and or become a patron if you also want to be a part of my designing process. Now, without further ado, let's begin. While not being the star of this video, the base Mark 6 look in Halo 3 just can't be topped. It's one of those designs that can carry an entire franchise on its own, and the version seen in Halo Infinite is no doubt a faithful representation, while still making some minor adjustments to make it its own design. Although it is worth noting, the armor is meant to be an homage to the Halo 2 armor, despite its 2 and 3 hybrid look. But maybe you want to go for something a little more stormtroopery. EOD has always been a little bit of the black sheep of Halo 3's armor sets, with its iconic separated eyes and overall bulky look. And the same can be said about the modernization of it. With a new level of wear and tear, this beast of an armor set looks even more mean than it did before. But maybe we can go even meaner. This specialized up-armored plate is intended to assist unaugmented EOD teams. While the armor itself is now rated to appropriate specs, Materials Group has yet to solve the issue of operator mortality rates. For the more hazardous situations, we've got you covered. Designed to assist with shipwreck scavenging in the wake of the created uprising, these specialized CBRN pipes utilize high-efficiency rebreathers to extend operational times, thus increasing yields. Or maybe you want a completely new look. An attempt by Materials Group to design a next-generation ablative coating to help prevent armor wear, this armor layer is almost indistinguishable from the xenotech that it's based on and is hauntingly expensive to produce. Alternatively, we could also play around with multiple attachments to give it an even more wild look. Now, for a personal favorite of mine, and hands down the best iteration we've seen, Recon. Aside from its rarity making it a sought-after piece of armor, Recon's almost diamond-shaped design makes it stand out among the other more conventional helmets. And in high definition, the details show themselves more clearly than ever before. Here I even took some, albeit minor, liberties. Instead of the original more jagged lines on the top part of the helmet, I made them more unified and consistent. I also felt like the mouth area could use some form of separation, making the entire thing seem more factory produced. Now personally, I've always felt like Recon is the prime candidate for a tactical look. A generation after next rebuild of information gathering systems for a classified drone fighter program. Or let's say you want to beef it up a little. Specially designed blast-hardened rebreather setup for ship-breaching teams. This setup features an inbuilt air reservoir in case of accidental decompression. And a brim has never not looked good. Some Janissaries are better equipped than others, but even those with surplus Human Covenant War Mjolnir still modify it to their liking through marks of rank. Or we could just go with the rule of cool and throw on all we've got. Out of all of Halo 3's helmets, I'd argue that Scout is the most dunked on design, to the point that it's been nicknamed the Pistachio Helmet, due to its unique shape. That being said, it has its faithful followers, and I believe the uniqueness of it is one of its great qualities. But bringing it into the modern age, it's clear I've made some changes to it. Changing a classic design like this one was a topic of discussion between me and my Spartan 2 patrons, but ultimately, I was curious to see what a new interpretation of Scout could look like, while still obviously having the broad strokes of the original. Bringing the visor up a bit was on the top of my list, and I also went ahead and gave the sides a new look, bringing in some depth that wasn't there before. For the rest of the armor, however, it's the Halo 3 Scout we've always known. But for the Reach fans out there, let's bring in something familiar. Modification of the ANPZY6000 Argon attachment available to operators utilizing older Scout helmets and the newer Vigilant helmets. This setup bears no improvements over the Argon save for its casing, which now allows near universal mounting on Gen 3 Mjolnir helmets. Let's say you want a more protective look. Experimental shaped armor intended to better channel explosive shockwaves around the operator's head rather than against it. The B5D engineers behind the revised design recommended only using it with their proprietary chest up armor. Or maybe you just want something absolutely terrifying. An offshoot of the Pattern Wolf program, this design is an attempt at allowing a greater number of Spartan 4s the ability to make use of precision optics on the Argus class Mjolnir. Hell, throw them all together and it's the stuff of your nightmares. It wouldn't be a Halo game without the original. Interestingly, while being a Mark V enjoyer, Halo 3's iteration never really resonated with me. Whether it's the too rounded design or the unnecessary visor lines, it just doesn't beat the classic design. But setting aside my blasphemous takes, what would Halo 3's iteration of the Mark V look like modernized? The new grid and overall more angular look turns what used to be a soft and kind design into a mean and robust helmet. To make the Mark V more appealing to me, I made sure to, once again, give it some more depth with the shapes being used, most notably on the lower part of the mouth area. But maybe you want to give this classic design a new spin. Purpose-built to help prevent temporary blindness after large-scale explosive detonations, this UA and visor rebuild is just over 77% more effective at blocking out sudden overwhelming light sources. It is not, however, intended to allow operators to stare at Nova detonations. How about almost bridging the gap between Mark V and 6? The hardened brim of this helmet features more delicate scouting instruments to allow Spartan operators better opportunities to gather information from afar, without ever being noticed by their enemy. Now for those of us yearning for the good old days, look no further. This visor suite is a ground-up rewrite of old-school visor technology intended to be familiar to veteran Spartan operatives. While its advantages over current technologies are minimal, it's more of a mark of rank than it is an actual improvement. And again, we could turn it into almost an entirely new helmet by combining some of the attachments. The result of a collaboration with Ninja Gaiden, Hayabusa proved that Ninja plus Spartan equals fan-favorite helmet that players can only dream about making a return. With its unique history, the shape language, the coloring, the crown, all of this made it stand out in all the right ways. And in higher definition, all of these aspects are still present, now with more clear and defined details. But could anything be added to this iconic armor set? Part of a series of design explorations from stocks of Hayabusa armors left forgotten, these enhanced optics feature a minimally invasive upgrade to the helmet's inbuilt passive observation abilities. How about making it more Spartan-like? Project Osteo required many different technology baselines during its long testing era, and forgotten stocks of Hayabusa armor proved one of many perfect candidates. Or how about the other way around? style is sometimes more important than substance when dealing with janissaries and their proprietors. The ninja aspect of this helmet could be even more exaggerated with multiple attachments. And while we're at it, of course, we'll bring in the katana. While not being one of the fan favorites per se, CQB has always had a special place in my heart due to its distinctive look. It also has hands down the best chest piece. Looking at it in high fidelity, it's clear you don't fix what isn't broken. While the chest piece has gotten a makeover, it's all in service to the original design. My Spartan 2 patrons and Discord mods suggested taking some inspiration from Halo Reach's shoulders in the form of a white AERO, just cause we can. But how can we add to the CQB? These quick-release CBRN pipes, intended to be used on Balaho and other Ongoi colony worlds, clog up quite easily due to the amount of particulates in the air. Each set of pipes is rated for 120 minutes of operational time, however, so operators needn't constantly worry. Let's yet again bring in some of that tacticalness. Advanced Command Network Module, designed to burn through the active jamming techniques employed on created occupied worlds. Or we could give the bald fella a toupee. Shaped armor being field tested by Beweglichkeitsrüstungssystemen as a way to reduce head trauma from blunt melee weapons. And of course, by combining some of these, we get something even more unique. Spartan helmets are known for their visors, and EVA has lots of it. It even went one step further, as it has these segments of the visor that's darker than the rest of it, setting it apart even further from the other helmets. And taking a look at EVA in a new light, we can see that those aspects have been left intact. But let's say you want less visor. Every Mjolnir helmet features delicate electronic suites. This small blast shield is designed to protect the most important of those electronics, while minimizing the impact on the operator's field of view. Or maybe you'd like to take some inspiration from another helmet. A set of highly experimental CBRN pipes based on a setup envisioned by a team of Heragok-assisted engineers. The Goblin pipes are designed to effectively alter incoming particles into a breathable air mixture. Unfortunately, the technology to accomplish this is still a mystery to human engineers, so this example is unique. And for us Kelly fans out there, you can now rest. The original testbed attachment for what would become the Hermes class armor, this upgraded Mark IV subsystem features a toned down rewrite of the enhanced mobility system for use by Spartan 4 operatives. And by combining these, we get something kinda stupid. Rogue is one of few helmets we haven't seen since Halo 3, unless you're counting the Gen 2 variant, which I won't. And it's a shame, since in HD, it would fit right in with all the other modern helmets. Aside from defining the shapes a little more clearly, I also gave it a black rim just above the visor to make it stand out even more. And funnily enough, the black parts around the nose area on the original are really dark and smooth, so I saw this as an opportunity to give it some more practicality and realism. But how about we just hide all of that and give it a whole new look? A dual-purpose signal intelligence suite and situational awareness module for headhunters? This specific setup is tailored for lone wolf operatives tasked with reconnaissance and subterfuge. And seeing as there's quite the gap in the mouth area of Rogue, let's do something about that. Originally built for the specifications of Spartan headhunters, this specialized CBRN setup eventually found its way into regular Spartan hands, where it would gain notoriety for being extremely valuable in the event of sudden chemical attacks. Or why not just make it look really cool? This remote scanning module doubles as a command network module. Both functions work together flawlessly to allow frontline support units to feed a constant and accurate readout of enemy positions to their fellows. And here, we can actually combine all three attachments, which more than any other example, really gives us an entirely new helmet. While being one of the crazier designs in Halo 3, security is still a fan favorite, especially considering how many iterations we've seen of it over the years. So for the new rendition of it, its most notable feature, the visor, is more or less unchanged. What is changed, however, is the surrounding details around the visor. The original is quite low on the amount of detail, so I just went ahead and came up with my own new shapes and lines. And of course, the Marathon logo is still up there. But maybe you want something to counter the humongous visor. Unique armored CBR infiltration system built to keep out even the worst chemical weapons devised by human minds. Or your daily dose of nostalgia. Complete rebuild of older M23 NAS helmets used by some Air Force squadrons of the UNSC. The M23 SASH is a pilot-oriented attachment for the venerable security helmet, intended to increase combat awareness and provide an integrated vehicle link for Pelicans, broadswords, and sabers. And for those who want something a little more protective, up-armored blast shielding used by some members of the UNSC High Command Honor Guard. These operators specialized in quick reaction in the event of terror attacks throughout Sydney. And with these two attachments together, we actually remove most of what makes this helmet unique in the first place. The ODST helmet from Halo 3 was the helmet that cemented the go-to look for the Helljumpers going forward. While the round and smooth look of it gives it that non-Spartan feel, it still goes great on these 7 feet tall super soldiers. And with higher fidelity, I just had to stay as true to the original as I could. While the wear and tear gives it a more aggressive look, it's complemented by the original's shape language that's still present here. But it's been proven time and time again that attachments make the ODST helmet even better. Much like the helmet itself, this iteration of the OI Watcher attachment was originally designed for use by ODST marksmen, but due to the significant overlap between the two branches, it saw widespread adoption by the Spartans. Perhaps you're looking for something a little more simple. Mil-spec flashlight hardened against EMP, gunfire, and even the heat of orbital re-entry. Nothing short of the weight of an M808 rolling over it will break the case, and even then it'll continue to function. Or if you want to try something completely new, the M252 Visor Management Suite is intended to ease the transition for new recruits to the Helljumpers by providing similar HUD layout to the standard marine shooting glasses. Limiting the field of view also helps reduce feelings of vertigo while dropping from orbit. And with multiple attachments, we get a whole nother personality. Now, while that's it when it comes to the Halo 3 helmets that were released back in 2007, I just couldn't help myself. I had to bring in some old concept art made by longtime Halo concept artist Isaac Hannaford. Since all we've got are these 2D renders of them, I've taken a small amount of liberties to realize them in a way I'm happy with. And of course, there is Lore. Named after the Greek god of the west wind, Zephyr earned a reputation as best in class when it came to speed and agility, despite its deceptively robust design. Its true origins remain shrouded in mystery, however, with only fragments of its development history surfacing through classified UNSC records. Beyond its ergonomic frame, Zephyr is equipped with modular rangefinders and a compact yet highly efficient rebreather system, ensuring peak performance in even the harshest environments. This helmet is probably the most unique out of these, with its pointy and really clean look, so giving it a more exotic name just felt right. I did change the color of the brim just because I thought I could use some more black parts for the right balance. Other than that, I just tried my best to honor this design, as it's one of, if not my favorite. Using the same framework as the CQC, the Cerberus helmet was designed for Spartans operating in urban environments. While its predecessor already excelled in mobility and ballistic protection, Cerberus expanded upon this with a reinforced visor and an integrated filtration system, enabling combat effectiveness in hazardous environments. With this one, I didn't change anything of note, mostly just adding details where I thought there wasn't enough. While this helmet almost looks a little out of place in Halo 3 for me, it's perfect for the helmet roster of Reach or Infinite. Originally designed for an undisclosed development project on Algolis, this robust piece of Mjolnir armor was later repurposed as the Advanced Expeditionary Recon Operations helmet for the Mark VI. Though it saw limited use during the Human Covenant War, the AERO helmet would later pave the way for numerous Gen 2 advancements aboard Anvil Station. This helmet is definitely on the more unique side, and I wanted to make sure I'd capture that. However, I did end up tweaking the overall silhouette of it just to tone it down a bit and make it a little more conventional. And finally, I made the forehead piece black, since to me, the lone curved black line on the original resembled eyebrows, especially when I made the green parts brighter. That could just be a me thing, but I digress. First prototyped at a classified facility in 2552, the Tribune helmet was initially overshadowed by the sturdier Centurion prototype, which ultimately became the bulkier alternative to the Mark VI helmet. However, its reinforced frame and layered ballistic plating proved invaluable against the devastating weaponry employed by the Banished. Therefore, Tribune secured its place as a prime candidate for the Gen 3 Mjolnir platform. The beefy and armored look of this helmet immediately made me think of Centurion, hence why I had to include it in the lore. With this one, I didn't make any notable changes. I expanded a little on the parts that were there, such as the top part and the detailing on the eyeliner, but that's about it. A great helmet that really should have made the cut back in the day. And there it is. We've gone over 10 sets of Halo 3 armor and 4 additional helmets never before seen in action. Which helmet had the best makeover with its attachments? And which of the new helmets is your favorite? I love reading your comments, and I try my best to respond to as many as possible, so be sure to let me know. And once again, huge thanks goes out to LoreKeeper for writing most of the lore for this video. And another huge thanks goes out to my Spartan 2 patrons and Discord mods for helping me create these designs. I can't stress enough how helpful they've been in this and all my other projects. And an update for those who've wondered where I've been, I'm currently in my last year of university to become a 2D game artist. So sadly, I've had to prioritize that part of my life over this channel for the last couple of months. Now I've still got half a year left, so I can't make any promises on how long you'll have to wait for the next video, but I'm hoping it won't be 6 months long. I've even got multiple collaborations in the works, tackling beloved franchises that need some Halo-fying, so stay tuned. Now, I want to thank my Spartan 2 patrons. That One Guy, Diehard Cold 3, Ripcorded, Desu, Coden Wash, Captain Waffles, Poison Ebony 666, and Hitsuyona Kurento. My Spartan 3's, Jordan Downey, and Azores. And my Spartan 4, Bike02. If you like this video, give it a like. If not, a dislike. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I wish you all the best, and take care. Vernissage, out.